Oh,
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. I have added to my speaking of lemonade, adding to my my desk at work, my cubicle. I recently purchased a 60-pack of Crystal Light things to, the little powder things to drop in your.
Right.
It's a game changer. It's my little it's my little treat.
It's a little treat to yourself. You put it in and you shake up the water bottle.
Yeah,
and now you got a little sweet treat right there.
Got a little sweet treat, and unbeknownst to me, they had 4 different flavors in it, and one of them is wild strawberry, which is the only one I never had. And I come to find out it's caffeinated. So I'm like, great, just what I need. I need more caffeine at work.
Just get all buzzed up at work.
I'm just gonna tap it out onto the desktop and just do lines of it after a certain point.
Yeah. That's the next step with Crystal Light
that's crystal meth.
Crystal meth. It's that a lot of people think marijuana is the gateway drug. Mm-hmm. It's actually Crystal Light.
It's Crystal Light, raspberry lemonade.
Exactly.
God damn, it's good. 5
You know what
calories.
else is a gateway drug?
What's that?
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Pixel It. My name is Kevin. With me, as always, is Phil. And on today's show, we are talking Borderlands. We're in part 3. We're doing lines, Crystal Light, and we're ready to go.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're ready to roll. I mean, this has been a good book, but I think it's always when we get to the 3rd episode that we're like, okay, let's shut it down. Let's be done with it.
Let's be done with it. And also, when we get to the 3rd episode, we know what this book is.
Yes. There are no more mysteries to unravel.
There's no more mysteries to unravel. Unless you're Sacred and Terrible Air. And then you just have more mysteries than answers when you're done.
That was a horse of a different color. That was completely different. Learned a lot about Eastern European fiction writing, I think. I don't know. I don't have a ton of experience, but based on that alone, holy shit.
But before we do that, I just want to tell you about a sweet little number of a website called patreon.com/pixelitpod. If you go there, you can follow us for free. That's right. Patreon has a free tier now that you can go and you can follow your favorite creators, and you get access to some of their stuff, including us. We have posts that you only get access to if you're following us on the free tier on patreon.com/pixelitpod. But if you feel so inclined, you can give us money as well. We'll take it.
Ooh,
we love it.
We will.
$1 a month gets you access to Phil's blog, where he rants and raves about books that he's reading. And $5 a month gets you our ad-free tier, where you get the ad-free version of these episodes and also access to the bonus that we record right before the show. A little bonus nugget of 10 minutes where we talk about all sorts of things, We throw
all
it on there.
Stuff.
All
Get
kinds
to know
of
us
stuff.
a little better.
Get to know us a little bit better. Get to know today I was talking about the fact that it's a week and a half of hitting the gym every day. Come celebrate with me. And at $10
join us.
$10 a month gets you a shout out in every episode. So to that end, I want to shout out Ruthless Mutter, Kyle Seaman, Jesus Loves You, and Friendly Friend. Thank you so much for being a friend. Thank you so much for being a friend. And that is the end of the shill for patreon.com/pixelitpod, the best website in the universe.
The best website known to man. Probably
known to man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting a giant black obelisk to appear on our website any day now, to start signaling the coming evolution that is inevitable, based on the quality of that website. I think we can all, agree.
We can all agree with that. That's happening.
That's what happens next. Yeah.
What happens next? Some Cronenberg style human evolution, where everybody kind of melts and turns into a blob.
That's the only evolution I want. I don't want this boring, slow change over millions of years shit. I want Cronenberg.
I want Cronenberg. I want the end of Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
With less jerking off. Well, you know what? More. Take it all back.
That kid is so fucked up.
Oh God. Yeah.
Oh God, he can't catch a break.
No.
So what do you say we put the body, this book to rest and the body in the marsh?
Let's do it. Let's make a marsh body.
Police have confirmed that the body of the man found dead in the Fenway marshes yesterday afternoon is that of...
You soft fits.
Okay, we left off at chapter 16. Zac and Burl are making their way to the alien site. They've got their plan for Zac basically acting as alien bait. Zac is still trying to think of ways to betray Burl. And it's getting ridiculous now because I'm also starting to pick up the idea that Zac isn't meant to be the bad guy, which I strongly disagree with here. Every moment with him and Burl, and yes, Burl tied him up. Yes, he took him kind of prisoner. He like, it was harsh, but this is the world they live in, and he has done nothing but steal from this old man who's actually got a pretty nice sense of humor compared to some of the other people we've run into in this book.
Right.
So I don't care. I know how this book ends, and nothing about this book is ever going to change the fact that Zac is not a good guy to me. I just can't. I can't go with it.
Yeah.
He figures he's going to betray Burl when they're at the alien site. He kind of fantasizes a little bit about getting rich. Burl takes him through what is essentially a hologram on the side of a mountain, like this optical illusion kind of thing that's set up. It looks like a solid piece of rock. It is not. And they walk right through it, and it basically acts as a hiding point for the only way up the mountain. So they're making their way up, switchbacks and all that good stuff. Burl says that there is a cave up there that they can sleep in because early morning brings alien treasure hunting. That was the original idiom of early bird catches the ancient alien technology. That was where that came from.
That's where that came from. Came from a fictional universe and then backwards through time into our universe, or forwards through time. And Borderlands is actually in the Battlestar Galactica universe.
Yes. They see there.
Spoilers.
And time
for
is a flat circle, so you go forward far enough, you'll eventually be coming up from behind. That's just how that works.
Forward, it's the horseshoe theory of time.
Yeah, exactly. That's how that works. We cut to Roland and company. They are also making their way up the volcanic cone for the treasure at the top. They split up to set up camp for the evening. Rands tries to silence Cal, who bites his hand and gets knocked out for his trouble. Rands drags him off, explains that he's a loose end that he has got to get rid of. We cut to Marla. She begins digging slowly in a corner of the cell.
She's Shawshanking it.
She's Shawshanking it. It's this little blind spot, I guess, that they can't see that she's digging it. She finds another note from the previous cell inhabitant, which warns about the danger of the volcanic cone. She realizes she's going to need Flemmel, the guard, Flemmel's clothes, and uses her sexy wiles. Who would have thunk it? What a shocking twist.
Sexy wiles again.
Sexy
Marla,
wiles.
Sexy wiles. Last
Finn.
name Finn.
Finn. And she gets him into the cell at the last second before the rat on human banging. They're stopped by Bronchus, the big nasty guy who comes in with a new prisoner, Cal. So we've got our reuniting of mother and son.
Yes.
Which is finally. This is where I start to. No.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy that they're starting to cut down on the storylines.
Yeah.
We go off so many different ways, and this whole section of the book we start consolidating, and I
consolidating,
appreciated that.
And also it's the coming together of Marla and son. In a very Marla is in a position of doing the thing that she's about to do.
Right. It doesn't. It doesn't get much better than this. It's going to get really uncomfortable, in fact.
There's going to be some uncomfortability. There's going to be a little bit more.
Weird.
It's going to get weird, but then that's it for the rest of the book, pretty much.
Pretty much. Thank God. Chapter 17. Zac, Burl, and Busy climb the volcanic cone, and when they get to the top, they can see where an alien spacecraft crashed a long, long time ago. Burl's alien compass goes crazy near it. It clearly wants to get back to that ship. Zac is accosted by a silvery snake-like thing that Burl peels off of him and throws away, calling it a ship growth, which heavily implied to be the same thing that they found in the back of the Psychos.
Correct.
With Roland. Marla and Cal catch up. We get caught up on where everyone is. And then Marla uses her feminine wiles on the guard again. But for the first time in front of her son.
In front of her son.
Yeah.
She, quote, presses her breasts against the jail cell.
Yeah, like she kind of, I imagine, because I just imagine there were bars. And so she was like a boob through each space between the bars. It just, that would have worked. That would have worked, yeah. So
Billy.
She knocks out the guard and poses as him in his clothes with Cal as a prisoner. This works for a little while, but not very long, because on the way out, Tunnel Rat gets suspicious. They kill him and make a mad dash for some form of exit while being chased by just a swarm of tunnel rats. They escape through a hatch that's at the base of the volcanic cone where Vance is waiting for them. And Vance, being his beautiful, charming self, basically tells them that they're going to follow his orders or else. So, hooray.
Hooray, Vance.
This
really
world of supportive woke men. Like,
yes.
Just Pandora. Land of feminism.
Land of feminism and the woke mind virus.
Chapter 18. Burl, Busy, and Zac. The plan, obviously, is for Zac to distract the Monitor, which is the alien kind of lookout.
Which is funny because it's that's like, it makes me think of Halo.
Yeah. There's a lot of similarities here with that. There's no way around it. And Burl explains that this is basically how he found Busy. He had the necklace that he wears, as Zac has suspected, kind of overrides the alien signal, and it causes Busy to serve Burl instead of the ship, which it had originally. Right. Zac is less than comforted by this story. It's one of the few times he and I are completely in accord.
He's like, is at this point where he's like, Burl is like, well, the range is about a half kilometer. And Zac's like, we're closer than a half kilometer now.
I know, it's weird. Like, that's basically what he says.
I know,
it's crazy, right?
It's working.
I know, it's cool.
And he's like, prospector.
I wouldn't worry about it. We've got rap heart. And he's like, are you talking about rapport? And he's like, yeah, we've got that. Me and Busy. We're rapport. And it's like, oh, this is not great.
Not great.
Not great. Don't worry about that nuclear warhead. It's got a plastic bag over the top of it. It'll keep it contained. Used to have a sandwich in it. Miss that sandwich. Burl points out that the spaceship has been lighting up since they got there, and seems to imply that it knows that they are there. We cut back to Roland and Company making their way to
Roland and
Company. Adventure for hire.
Adventure.
Excitement. Science and technology. They're making their way.
What?
I mean, what? Probably. Unfortunately, we'll find out probably. They're making their way up the volcanic cone. Roland suspects Rands of having something to do with Cal's disappearance, which I don't know. I don't know if that exactly makes him Sherlock Holmes.
Right.
But good for him. He tells the others to go up without him for the time being and backtracks to the tunnel rat tunnels. He finds them and threatens them with his arsenal of weapons unless they tell him what happened to Cal. And Bronchus, the big, lovable galoot, explains to him everything that went down, basically. Gets him up to speed. Chapter 19. Zac is distracting the alien monitor from Burl, who's digging around through the artifacts. He's doing his job. He finds an artifact of his own. It's this lump. It's like the size of a human head. It's like organic, and it's got spines in it that every now and then poke out. And he does the old pick up your dog's poop trick where he takes his bag and like turns it inside out and kind of picks it up through that.
It's lump. It's lump.
It's in his head. Actually, unbeknownst to him.
For real, it's actually in his head.
But seriously, it's in his head. It's in his head. Busy gets controlled by the monitor all over again. Who could have possibly seen this coming?
Not Burl.
Not Burl. I think everyone but Burl probably suspected
Everyone but Burl.
It's a special kind of prospector to ignore all the signs that death is imminent. Burl's still my favorite character.
Still my favorite character too. I think he's still good, still good guy. You know,
good guy. So Busy starts attacking Burl, who's like hiding behind rocks and avoiding neon blue acid spit, and crying out for Zac to come and help him. You gotta come help me, like all that.
Right.
Zac is kind of like on his way to being like, no, fuck it, I'm leaving. And then finally has a change of heart and comes back. He kind of instinctively uses the spiny artifact thing to basically make Busy rethink its actions for a second. It kind of pops off something in his head for a second.
It pauses Busy from just melting Burl.
Right. Stops him for a second. But before he can do anything more, he is grabbed from behind by the monitor and placed lovingly into the spaceship. Warmly.
Tenderly. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a child or a soft-faced lover.
Soft-faced lover. A pillow-faced lover.
Pillowy faces everywhere.
Pillowy faces. So like a pillow-faced lover or a cushion-faced lover, as JD Vance prefers.
JD Vance loves a cushion-faced lover.
He loves a cushion-faced. I got there.
It didn't take too many steps. You did
not take too many steps. That was not forced at all.
You were on it. You were on it.
I earned that one.
Yes, you did. I think we're all proud of you.
That was couches.
Good. He fucks couches. Tell your friends.
Tell your friends. JD Vance has.
I think we need to worry about that though, because I'll tell you what, we haven't considered the very real possibility that is just going to make him popular with a quietly enormous section of couch fuckers.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's a whole thing, like contingent of people out there who really feel unseen.
Yeah, that's the real silent majority.
Fetish towards furniture fetishes.
Yeah. I think that
not to kink shame, but
but you're going to see Joe Biden coming in and humping a cabinet just to get some relevance back. All right. Vance, Marla, and Cal are at the base of this volcanic mountain. Vance, thinking this will be a hilarious joke.
It's a hoot.
It'll be a hoot and a holler. Basically says to Marla, hey, Marla, watch this. Grabs Cal by the scruff of his neck and the base of his pants and throws him towards what we know is an illusory wall because we've seen it work. And Marla has no idea, thinking that he's just literally launched her son face first at a rock face. And and he just goes through and kind of peeks his head back out again.
Marla she is whatever wet was there is all dried up.
Gone. I think we've all been there. I think women especially, but I think we've all been there where it's just like the charm fades in a shockingly fast amount of time, like a literal amount of days, sometimes hours. And you're like, what the hell was I enjoying about this before? In Marla's case, it was, oh yeah, the big dick. Which is fair, valid. So she's dealing with the it's her own little walk of shame, basically.
Right.
Vance is trying to convince/threaten them into going up the trail with him to go up to get some alien loot. And Marla has kind of this moment of recognition into what kind of a dude Vance is, in that he needs
this guy sucks.
He sucks, but it's like he sucks because it's one of these guys that like he's got to threaten you, but he also wants you to like him. He has to have it both ways.
Toxic. She calls him toxic.
She calls him toxic. Absolutely, she does. And it's true. It's true. He wants to have full control over everything, but he also needs you to like him. It's a very Elon Musky vibe you get. So it's a very interesting moment. She gets kind of a come to Jesus moment of her own creation.
Sure.
So finally he's kind of threatening them. So they're like, okay, fine. And in that moment, as they start to go up the trail, they are attacked by these invisible bug things. He calls them stalkers. At one point they're described as having like grasshopper faces or something like that. And so we've got a fight that breaks out with those. Marla and Cal try to take that opportunity to escape, and they run through the illusory rock face, but Vance catches up with them just in time, blows up the last stalker just as two outriders roll in, carrying, you thought they were gone, but they're back, Mash and Grunge.
Everybody's favorite guy.
Such a good character.
That's a good character.
Character.
Grunge is the guy who says Missy Ho a lot.
Yeah, Missy Ho. Likes him short, as it turns out. And they are ready for vengeance. So that's chapter 19. Chapter 20. Zac finds that he is trapped inside some kind of weird organic pocket thing in the ship.
It's like a kangaroo's pouch.
Yeah. He tries to like slide out of it, but it squeezes him real tight. He coughs up some kind of a plug, which is like okie dokie. He coughs up some technology, and he's hearing like whispering and far off voices in his head. He's trying to escape, but the pocket's just holding him too tight. And he starts hearing these high-pitched screams and noises, and suddenly has this realization that the alien ship has tapped into his brain. That it's in there with him now. Let's see. We cut to Vance, Cal, and Marla. They have a face-off with Grunge and Mash and two others, which... whatever. One of them gets named Patch, as I recall. They're not important. Oh, well, and there's also Dimmel, which was like, I think Mash's like right-hand man or something.
Yeah.
So anyway,
unimportant henches.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, henchman number 1 and henchman number 2. It doesn't matter. We get classic Mexican standoff style. Everyone's pointing guns at everybody else. Threaten everybody else. Cal sees a stalker in the distance and says, "Hey, look, a stalker!" Basically, and I think it's Mash. Like basically laughs.
Look behind
at
you, a
like,
3-headed monkey.
Right, exactly. And Mash is like, "No, who falls for that? What are you even talking about?" But Cal was telling the truth. And no one listens. So the stalker kills one of the henchmen. Just they launch spikes out of their tails. Very Manticore.
Yep. Manticore.
The Manticore. They kill the stalker, and then it just
Dakonia. It's a reference for like 5
Oh my
people,
God.
but I'm making it.
We wrote a TV show.
We wrote a TV show.
It was
about a fictional country that existed on the border between Canada and the United States. It was between it was north of North Dakota. It was called Dakotia.
And it's like the size of a small town.
It was the size of a small town, and its flag was had a the Manticore wasn't on the flag. I actually have the flag somewhere because a friend of ours made one.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Manticore was important to the founding of the town.
It was like the founding father. I think there was like a painting of the founding father holding up
the head of the Manticore.
A Manticore head, which is just a human head.
Which was just a guy's head. And
some people go to grad school to get, to go to law school or something like that. And then others, some of us just fuck around for 3 years and get a film degree. Yeah. Better, honestly. Better. So the Manticore stalker kills
the Manticore
kills Patch, and he had so much to live for. Yeah. They kill the stalker, and it just descends into a gunfight. Everyone's just shooting at everybody else. Vance manages to kill Grunge, despite the fact that Grunge has some serious shields on him. He just kind of forces the gun right up to him and shoots him point blank and just blows him away. Mash kills Vance. Just blows him up. Loses an arm.
Shot
Vance gets shredded. Yeah.
Murdered the shit out of.
Truly.
Dusting off an old classic. Murders the shit out of him.
Murders the shit out of him.
Vance, Vance has this really brief hero moment. And then and then then all 3 of them unload their rifles on Vance. And it's like, Vance is described as having had his arm shot off, his chest perforated with bullets, and a geyser of blood erupting from his neck.
Yeah. It made me think of the scene in Walk Hard with the machete fight where the boy gets cut in half by machete and he looks at his brother and goes, "Listen, I don't think I'm going to make it out of this alive." It's the same thing. It's like, and so he's just dying. He should just be dead. The fact that
there shouldn't have even been final words.
None.
The DM was kind and let him have final words.
Very kind. And Vance he whispers the location of the money stash that he hid away after they betrayed Mash and Grunge and all them to Marla before he dies. And Marla is very grief stricken. And you just can't help but imagine Cal being like, Mom,
why are you so upset about this guy?
What's Mom? This? Like, it is awfully suspicious. It really is. So Roland, before Grunge and Mash could make short work of them because they correctly assume that Vance's last words were spent telling about his hidden away stash of money.
Right.
But before they can do anything about it, Roland has snuck up on them and just kills the shit out of Mash and Dimmel.
Yep.
Taking care of the rest of them. Introductions are made. Timelines are solidified.
Merged.
Merged.
We're getting rid of where characters have been pruned from the tree.
Yes, exactly. They're on their way to being a real boy. I don't know what that means. Roland agrees that they will bury Vance at Marla's request. Once again, if I were the kid, I'd be like, Mom?
You're like, just leave the other ones out, but this guy.
You mean the guy who was threatening us, Mom?
Yeah.
Because that's Cal's only frame of reference for this guy.
Is the guy who threatened him and also threw him at a rock wall that he didn't know he could walk. It was like, and it's just like, he sees his mom just like, oh, Vance, you are such a complicated person.
Right. And he's just like, you mean the guy who thought it was funny to make it look like he murdered me? Like that guy? Like
that guy?
He knows something's up. He has to.
Yeah, he's gotta be putting 2 and 2 together.
I would hope so.
Or be putting 6 and 9 together.
I bet they did. I bet it was gross. Vance is, I don't care how good in bed he is, he smells. He has to.
He does not smell good.
No, come on. No.
Come on, guys. Like, yeah, the smell, it's got to burn, it's got to sting the nostrils.
Oh, bad. Real bad. So they agree to very
They haven't mentioned a toilet.
No. Let alone toilet paper. Roland says that Cal is going to grow up to be quite a man, which, you know, Cal is doing very well for himself. I will say he's the most improved. That's what he wins. Most improved player.
Most improved player.
I think he's growing, possibly not in the best ways, because again, this guy's gonna have PTSD for the rest of his fucking life.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be having some issues.
Oh, it's gonna be bad. We cut to chapter 21. Ripley, if you're going to be here, you can't shake and toss yourself around. It's a very delicate operation.
Toss myself around as I see fit.
Yeah, this is a delicate operation, and you're very fat. It's she shakes everything. Chapter 22.
I just see her ears going back and forth.
Yeah, she's so happy to be here. Zac is inside the alien ship. Well, inside the alien, as we have found out. The ship and the alien are one. It is a being from space that resembles a spaceship, but it's all organic.
Yeah.
So he is inside the alien, deep inside the alien. Did I skip
way
something?
down?
Must have. No, I didn't skip anything. Wait, I did. How do I keep doing this? Okay, all right, hold on. Let's back it up. Chapter 21. He wakes up out of the pocket wall. This is beforehand. And he hears a disembodied voice. And I'm going to give you a quote because I quite enjoyed this. It's the alien ship basically introducing itself. I have additionally been observing your race on the planet from time to time as I regenerated. Your species is made up of bumbling dumbasses on the whole. Kind of makes me ill to contemplate all the resources you have access to and the poor choices you make with them. What a bunch of knuckle-headed apes, for crying out loud. And the alien and Zac kind of goes, "What the fuck, man? Like, could you be a little less condescending?" And the alien's like, "I'm sorry, I'm reading your thoughts and I'm using words in your head so that you would understand."
I'm using words from your vocabulary that would impart the most understanding to you.
Yes, exactly. And it's pretty great. So the alien's been there for a while. Has crash landed and has decided while it regenerates and feels better, it's going to study this planet and its inhabitants. It says it's looking for the quote unquote hidden thing of interest in humans, which is never fully explained. It's kind of heavily implied. It's like a soul, basically.
Yeah,
like
trying to get like the alien basically is saying je ne sais quoi.
Right, pretty much. A certain human je ne sais quoi. Like that's pretty much it. It's considering Zac. It says Zac might have that certain something, that it factor, if you will. But if not, it's also considering keeping Zac in its collection. Basically suggesting it's going to throw him in a bottle to put up. Yeah, put up on a shelf to observe later. And this is where it explains that it is not a ship, but a living organism that Zac is a part of now.
It is, it is a space thing.
Yeah. Roland, Marla, and Cal, now armed to the teeth because they have just taken all the guns off of the 4 dead guys that they killed. They are climbing the cone. They meet Burl.
They're climbing the aggro crag.
Pretty much. Do you know you can like find those aggro crag pieces online? People sell theirs.
Really?
For like sometimes shockingly low amounts. Like for a piece of classic Nickelodeon merchandise, sometimes they are lower than you'd expect. I also know on Etsy they have in the past just made them, which I might take just for fun.
Yeah, how much is a working piece of aggro crag worth? You continue. I'm going to be...
Yeah, look it up. Look it up.
I'm going to be Yeah.
This is important information. So they're armed to the teeth. They meet Burl, who basically gets them up to speed on Zac. Tells them, because he bore witness to everything. They make camp, but they're woken up by an Atlas ship, another one of the pyramid ships touching down. And out pops Cranigan, Roscoe, and Rans Veritas, along with a suit. Okay, chapter 22. This is where I was. Zac is inside the alien. There's no other way to put it. He's still waiting to hear his fate. It's driving him crazy because the alien's like, well, hold on. I want to decide. I don't know if I'm going to kill you or not. And is admittedly very blasé about the whole thing. And it's driving him nuts. The alien gets kind of snippy with him. Talking about and talking about humans like as being these primitive ape things.
Yeah.
And Zac calls him on it, saying like, "Didn't you guys have to evolve from like lower life forms? So we're just evolving. Where that's what we're doing."
It's like, what's your deal, alien? And like, I don't concern myself with the ants. Why the fuck are you bothering me so much?
Right. And to the alien's credit, is like, that's a really good point. I apologize. That's a good point. Sorry. The alien basically he tells him that he's invited an Atlas ship there early on. If you guys remember, when we first saw an Atlas ship, they were saying that they couldn't fly straight to the thing because the defenses would stop them. And they weren't lying. It's just that now the alien has invited the ship directly and has lowered its defenses just because it's curious and wants to get on.
It wants more humans.
Exactly. Because it knows it's about at the point where it's ready to leave. It's ready to go and would like to see a few more humans before it leaves.
Yeah.
It also mentions kind of offhandedly that there's a woman and child up there with them, which Zac catches his attention.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So we cut to Roland, who approaches Cranigan, Roscoe, Rans, and Gorman, the Atlas suit.
Yes.
They
played by Paul Reiser.
I think so. Like, come on. Like, he did it so well before. Why not just let him keep it up? He's good at that.
It is a 1987 edition Paul Reiser suit.
Yeah, absolutely. Double-breasted, triple-breasted, I'll have you know.
He is, and he is going to throw all the safety precautions out the window. To get that alien sample.
Absolutely. We play the game of we thought you were dead. I thought I was dead too. I just now blah, blah, blah. He suggests that they let him kill Rans. He's got a personal beef with him over what he did to Cal. Says that he's hidden Cal away in a place you'll never find him, which is going to be really funny in about 5 minutes.
He speaks a dozen languages. He can blend in, disappear. With any luck, he has the Grail already.
That's basically it. And So he suggests that they let him just, you should just give me Rands and let me kill him. And they kind of consider it for a second, and then they're like, nah, he might still have some value. So they leave him be. And then he gets really pissed, and the same reason that Zac got pissed, basically, because they're being very blasé about whether he lives or dies. And he gets up in Gorman's face, who gives, I loved this part. It was such a funny little detail. Gorman, who has a red armored bodyguard, who at first they're like, is that a robot? Like, he's that big and just metal covered. But it's a soldier in like power armor, basically. And he gives his guard a signal, which is, they call it a just a little bit signal, which I have to assume is this. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Un
just
poquito.
a little bit.
And
Un poquito. Yeah. And the guard says, all right, fine, and just knocks Rand's block off. Doesn't kill him.
Just a quick backhand with the power armor.
Yeah, just backhands him into oblivion. And Gorman takes a moment to go, if I wanted you dead, you'd be dead. Just so you know. Just so you know. So let's all be cool now.
Be cool, honey bunny.
Be cool, honey bunny. Exactly. So the alliance seems to be back on. Roland is back with the crew, and he's kind of quietly hoping to himself that Marla and Cal are being cool, honey bunny, and keeping their heads down. We cut back to Marla, Cal, and Burl, who are approached by more Atlas soldiers in more power armor, who are on like a scouting platform vehicle, like a skiff or something like that.
Yeah. It's like Jabba's barge.
I was just going to say, it's like a little version of Jabba's barge. That's exactly. I guess I could CO7 drinks. And it's that. Think of that.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck are you people doing here? They had been given information on Cal, but not Marla. So they're like, well, we don't know what to do. And they basically go, fuck you guys. We're get on the barge. We're taking you back. So they are found by Atlas. But fortunately, maybe Burl has not been found. Burl was in a hiding spot, and they didn't seem to notice.
He's
him,
a wily prospector. You can't see Burl. Ooh.
I wonder if he's going to help in the future. He doesn't. Weirdly enough,
Burl just goes off and hides.
He just hides. You know what? I don't mind telling you guys that right here off the bat. Burl does not come in at the 8th hour to like 8th hour. Is that the expression? I don't know. The 11th hour.
11th hour.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The 11th hour to like save the day and do like some sort of sniper shot that saves everything. No, he just pops up after everything is said and done. He clearly had just gone and hidden away. Like that's all. So this is not.
Burl's back.
Yeah. This is not them setting him up to be like a hero driving a crop duster into the alien ship. Like, this is not anything like that.
Yeah.
He's just gone, which, to be fair, if I were Burl, it's exactly what I would do. So once again, favorite character ever.
Hey, boys. I'm
back. Like, that's not happening.
Not happening.
Chapter 23, the alien shows Zac. He basically gives him a bitmap, basically, of everything that's going on outside the Atlas group. And he sees that Marla and Cal have joined them, and he confirms that those are his kids. That's his kid and his wife, rather.
Yeah.
Cut to the Atlas team trying to decide how they want to infiltrate the ship. If they want to like go in guns a-blazing, or if they want to like be some level of sneaky about it. And while they're talking about this, the soldiers bring Marla and Cal, and Gorman wants them interrogated on their Atlas ship. Mm-hmm. Roland puts his foot down and says, absolutely not. They're under my protection. You leave them alone. And so he and Cranigan are arguing about it. He and Gorman are arguing about it. And finally, Roland kind of inexplicably says, hey, why don't you let me and Gorman fight to the death? And then you'll just have one of us to deal with. And Gorman says, that does sound pretty good, because I kind of hate both of you at this point.
Yeah.
But knives, no guns, knives. So I don't get hit with a stray bullet, which is actually
knives. Gentlemen, you know the rules. Avoid the face.
Yeah, exactly. The moneymaker. Yeah. So he says, fine, knives only. And they get started with the knife fight. Cue the beat it music. And we got another quote that I really
They have a face off.
They really do. They do everything but tie their wrists
One
together.
of them picks Odd Job, and it pisses everybody off.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Slappers only.
Uncool. So they're swinging knives at each other, and Marla, ever the voice of reason, says, "What is this barbaric idiocy?" Marla demanded, watching with disbelief as the two men circled one another. "You've already explained it," Gorman said, amused. Barbaric idiocy. But it is entertaining. So she says something smart for once, instead of look at these big pink things.
Yeah.
Roland ultimately kills Cranigan, gives us the "that was for McNee" moment that we've been waiting for since the very beginning of this book. And basically just immediately goes and takes Gorman hostage, holds the knife to his throat, and orders Marla and Cal onto the platform with him. He gets on one of the scouting platforms. Rands gets a gun and points it at Roland and Gorman, accidentally kills Roscoe because Roscoe runs up and says, "You're going to hit the boss," and just fucking atomizes Roscoe.
Yeah, it's like Roscoe. Roscoe just never existed.
Yeah, it was very a War of the Worlds, just a puff of smoke.
War of the Worlds,
kind of shit.
puff of smoke and gone.
Yeah, and then is immediately killed by the remaining guards. A stray shot hits the fuel reserves on the platform, and it explodes. Now, Zac, inside the alien, has seen all of this and freaks out, of course, because he's assuming that that his whole family's dead.
Right.
The alien says that it sees that quote unquote hidden thing of interest in Roland, Cal, and even a little bit in Zac. None for Marla, I'll point out.
None for Marla. This is a very sexist alien.
It's like, I get the impression she's just been fucking her way through Pandora. Which
Jesus Christ.
Fair enough. So he says, "You know what? You've proven yourself. I'm getting out of here. Here's something that will help take care of this." It gives him like this football-shaped artifact.
Yeah.
It's some sort of grenade, and he says, like, just throw it down into the earth, and it's going to take out the soldiers that are now your main obstacle.
Right.
And says it's going to be leaving soon, and it transports him out of the ship.
Yep.
So cut to the explosion. Marla and Cal are okay, but Roland is hurting. Roland is bleeding, and and we've got a La Pieta kind of move with his head in Marla's lap. Marla gets real weird about Roland in kind of the same way she did with Vance. The quote is something like, "What a magnificent man," or something, and it's like, girl. Like the thirst is unreal with her.
The thirst is real for Marla.
I was just getting over the whole like being with Vance to survive kind of plot. I was just getting over that. Now you're like, I don't know, but this one's good too, right?
Yeah.
And he's black, so let's do that. It's really uncomfortable, and it's right in front of her kid.
Yeah, so she's definitely she's doing the La Pieta pose. She's got him, and she's like sitting and kneeling, and
mournful and shit. It's like, I lost another potential husband. So the monitor comes back, bringing Zac with it. In its tentacles, and drops him down. He quickly apologizes to Cal and Marla for everything that he's done to get them there, and tells them to get the hell down. They do, and he throws the artifact down, basically releasing what is described as a miniature sun that consumes him and all of the guards. The blast melts Gorman's eyes.
Yep.
He's screaming and everything like that. But Zac
liquefies the guy's eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Liquefies his eyes in his skull. He's out there screaming. But Zac, that's a wrap on Zac. Zac is gone.
That is a wrap on Zac. Here's the thing. I don't know if Zac actually knew this thing was going to kill him or not. It doesn't seem like he was informed of what was going to happen.
The alien did not mention that.
Did not even specify. And here's the thing. The other
dirty trick.
Zac doesn't even have he doesn't have Vance got more of a final line than Zac did.
Yes,
Zac gets blinked out of existence by the sun thing.
Zac basically gets the same ending Roscoe got. No, Roscoe at least had more last words. No, it's he just disappears.
Zac is evaporated by this tiny sun thing. The guards, it doesn't evaporate the guards, but it melts their armor in a really terrifying thing and cooks them inside the armor. And you can see some of the armor melts out from their head. And it's just these skulls on the top of the armor, it is frozen in place.
Shirley writes some gore-tastic stuff. I mean, he proved that in BioShock. We get some moments here that are very, very good.
Zac is I'm going to save the day, but he's not going to didn't even get to really say anything to his family.
How surprised do you think he was? Oh shit, I'm going to, that's it. We get this really funny, and this is when Burl appears. They're all kind of it's kind of like mini eulogies for Zac at this point. Everyone's like, he was a good man. And Burl appears out of nowhere and he goes, well, we didn't see eye to eye on everything, but he was a good boy and all that. They're all doing this. And in the meantime, you have to understand that in the background, Gorman is still clutching at his face, screaming. Yes. So just imagine this man off in the corner going, oh God, oh, screaming his bloody lungs out. And they're going, Zac was a good father. He was a good man. Oh, yeah, just...
Well, he stole some stuff from me and I tried to kill him a few times, but I gotta tell you, he was a good man.
He was a good egg.
He was a good egg. Burl, where the fuck were you?
Yeah, Burl. Baby. Boobala. Nothing. It's just weird. It's so weird. And then the spaceship flies out of the volcanic cone, and Marla finally uses her xenobiology background to identify the fact that the ship is not a ship, but a living alien organism. To which Roland doesn't even go, by God, you're right. He goes, yeah, you might be right. It's not even enough that they believe her right off the bat. They're just yeah, maybe that's an interesting theory.
Yeah, neat.
This is the only use. They are on a planet filled with alien monsters, and this is the only time she gets to use her xenobiology.
And Roland's like, yeah, maybe. I got a concussion. Can you?
Which is fair. The ship sends a voice into their heads that says, try not to be such dumbasses. Have the courage to find your light, which is a pretty good.
So long, and thanks for all the fish.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. We cut to the epilogue. We're gonna wrap it up real tidy. Roland has made a deal with Atlas. They're gonna give Atlas Gorman back and an artifact that they already had anyway. And in exchange, Atlas will fly Cal and Marla to Xanthus, where they were headed in the first place. Mm-hmm. They theorized basically that the sabotage, because she's like, well, Atlas sabotaged our ship. And they said, no, it was actually probably the alien ship sabotaging anything that was trying to come into the planet because it was so close to leaving and it didn't want anyone else to fuck that up. Which I don't know what they based it on. I mean, obviously that's what Shirley wanted to be the answer, but it is kind of just this really wacky theory right out. It's no, I think it's
yeah,
what did you base that on?
I feel like it's just as much conjecture as Atlas sabotaging. It was it could have been either, really.
Right. It's treated as, no, I'm pretty sure it's treated as this is what happened. But it's based on what they know.
Right.
It's really out there. So Cal asks Roland to come with them. Marla backs him up, but Roland's not going to do it because he's a loner gunslinger, all mysterious and shit. I live free here on this planet.
I live free and I'll never be bored on Pandora.
Exactly. He gets his libertarian on. That's why he never hit on Marla. Too old for his taste. And then Marla and
you know what? He's very like he would be on the Firefly.
Yes. Great guy for the absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Marla and Cal get in the ship. It takes them far away from Pandora. The end. By the way, at the end, Cal says, "Bye, Dad." And for a second, I thought he was saying that to Roland. And I'm like, oh, no, he's saying that because his dad died here. Yeah, because his dad died. Yeah. That kid's fucked up. He's got PTSD from all the lines. And then he sees his dad briefly and then watches these vaporized. He gets no closure.
No closure at all
on this. This kid is, I think it would have been a kinder gesture to let him stay on Pandora. At least he would have had Roland there to like guide him along. Like it just, he's not good. You're going to go to Xanthus and have, the Marla at some point is like, we owe it to your dead father to have a beautiful life in Xanthus. What the fuck is this kid gonna do in Xanthus? He's gonna shoot up his school. Like, this kid is fucked.
He is. Yeah, it's like Xanthus is like Burl's like a lot of water on Xanthus.
yeah. That's the extent of it, really.
Yeah.
And it's just yeah. So and then they leave.
That's the end. Yeah.
And we don't even yeah. That's it. Oh yeah. And we get like Burl and Roland are like, maybe we're gonna work together.
I got Busy back.
Woo! Yeah, Busy comes back. That's right. Sorry, Busy came back. They don't explain if it's just. Yeah, I think. Well, he does actually say it's. It's kind of hilarious
because the alien's gone.
The alien's gone, and so there's nothing to interfere with my mind control device. It's like
my rep port.
Yeah, this is not your friend, Burl. This animal's a slave to you. That's what this is. Thank goodness. Thank goodness my slave's back. So Kevin, what'd you think? What'd you think of Borderlands: The Fallen?
Here's what I'll say. It's a very energetic, easy read of a book. It has a lot of fun moments in it, a lot of fun characters. But Marla is all over the map. Just like basically she is the perfect example of male author writing female character breasting boobily down the stairs,
right.
Because part of my issue is that, she's painted in the beginning as, she's a xenobiologist. She hasn't really done it in a long time, because of keeping the family together and all that stuff. Yeah. And she's got this husband, Zac, who's always off pulling shenanigans and whatnot. And she gets down to the planet and we explore her using her femininity and sexuality to kind of survive, but then simultaneously forgetting the fact that she's a xenobiologist until it's convenient at the very end. And it doesn't even add anything to the story of her just saying, that might be a creature. And Roland's like, I'm dying. Can you please take me somewhere?
Bleeding out.
So there's that. It's like there's a lot of good in here, but I think the contrast, it's a very sharp contrast of a lot of fun stuff mixed with a lot of just terrible characterizations of Marla. And I think we focus a lot on, I think Zac needed to be a lot more likable than he was, because to me that kind of made it made his sacrifice less interesting, because the only time we spend with Zac is he leaves the ship because he's a fucking idiot, and he goes down to he gets shot down, and he gets the main ship shot down, nearly gets his family killed, tries to steal things from the only guy who will help him.
Oh my God. Over and over
again. And then he has one moment of like clarity, and he helps Burl. And he's like, well, Burl was going to kill me. And he's like, yeah, because motherfucker, Burl was going to kill you because you kept fucking stealing from him.
Right. He owed you.
He owed you. He owed you a bullet in the head.
Exactly.
So anyway, Zac was not a good enough character. I feel like there was a better story in there where it's just Cal and Roland the entire time.
I couldn't agree more. Based on what we were given, if we just had a story about Cal and Roland, and Cal basically training a replacement / partner, we go in that direction. Because I loved their characterizations. I loved their shenanigans. I loved all that. I thought that was great. Yeah. I agree. I think Zac was a little one note and ultimately just annoying, not very interesting, and also definitely not likable enough. And Marla, but I think the thing, Marla, it just kept screaming back to me. If she was a more minor character, I wouldn't notice it as much, but she is one of the main characters of this book. And we go from, Zac having this big adventure, like where he nearly dies and has to do this and has to do that. And then Cal learning to be a man and taking his first life and it's fucking him up and all that stuff, to Marla having very little value beyond just being an undeformed woman.
Yes.
It's like nothing interesting is done with it. There's so many things. If you want her to use her feminine wiles, you could go a lot of directions with that. You can be like, she's kind of a homely woman and like she's never done this before. So it's really awkward. And she has a lot of introspection about how does this work and how do I do this properly? And they don't even really like me, not me. It's like you can do that and make it interesting and make her a three-dimensional character. But she's just very, it's Zac is flat and Marla's insulting.
Yes.
That's really what it comes down to.
So in the end, like still all packaged together, it's like, it's fine. I enjoyed kind of where you still kind of get pulled along by John Shirley's writing.
Shirley's a great writer. He is a great writer, entertaining writer.
Just the characters on this were a bit of a miss. I would say. Yeah. So it's definitely not. It's lot. Here's the thing: is ultimately this book we have our best of the best and we have our worst of the worst. And then there's big pile of books that end up somewhere in the middle. And they go, I said this to somebody the other day, those books go to where Bing Bong goes in the brain. It's like in a month, I'm not going to remember a lot about this book.
I'll look at it and go, oh, I remember that being a fun book. And that's probably the extent of it. Yeah,
that's probably how much I'm gonna. It didn't move me. It didn't shake me to my core, and fun. It didn't make me scream and rage.
True. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, now that that's done, Kevin, I have a single solitary question to ask you.
Yeah.
What are you playing?
Oh God, I feel bad because I haven't had anything new.
Thank God! Actually, it has not been a good week for gaming for me
to actually talk about because I am still playing Shadow of the Erdtree, the DLC for Elden Ring. Now, between last week and this week, I've made huge amounts of progress in the DLC. I think I'm getting close to the end of it. I really dig it, man. There's like,
that's awesome.
The DLC will probably be it's going to be on my game of the year list. It's going to be pretty high.
I was about to ask that if it holds up to the point that you'd put it on the game of the year list.
Yeah, I would carve it out as like, it's a hefty enough expansion to the game. Back in my day, we would call it an expansion.
Expansion, yeah, exactly.
It is a big expansion to the game where it adds basically another continent to the lands between. So the concept is, and I don't think I've actually explained it, is that you're sent to a shadow realm, and somebody pointed out on one of the Reddits that the area that you're in, if you take the map of the shadow realm and you lay it over top of a certain area of the original game's map, you could see that it looks like it belongs on the original continent. So at some point, this whole landmass got just ripped away and put in
kind of thing.
Yeah, and put into this like alternate dimension. You know, all those Miyazaki games, the Dark Soulses and the Demon Souls and Elden Ring, they all kind of play with this idea of multiple timelines and dimensions and universes kind of sitting on top of each other. So in Elden Ring, it's set in the lands between, and you have references to other places, but it's not truly explained what the lands between are. And some people believe that the lands between is like, it's like Valhalla, or it's like Mount Olympus. This is the land of the gods, and you can only get to it through certain means. So there's the lands between, and then even deeper into the lands between, there's the shadow realm where that one of the gods, Mikola, has kind of gone, like he's gone to. He has decided that this is where he is headed. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the DLC. It's got a lot of really neat characters and twists and turns in it. You find some things out about things that are in the base game. Like there's these dudes that are called living jars. So they. Oh,
I've seen
You've
images
seen the
of
living
those.
jars, yeah.
Yeah. People are selling pots based on them. So yeah.
They're adorable, right? The living jars.
They're really cute.
They're really cute. The DLC shows you how they're made.
Oh God, I'm sure it's totally natural and adorable.
It's
I'm sure.
It's great. It's adorable.
Sure it's
it's fine. You get to see what they look like without the jar.
Oh, good. That was immediately where my head went when I first saw it.
So you learn how the living jars are made in the DLC, and let me tell you, not great.
I can imagine.
So yeah, but loving it so far. I've just beaten a really annoying a couple really annoying bosses. One, this guy named Commander Gaius, who rides on the back of a massive armored wild boar type thing.
Cool.
And he just fucks you up. It's actually hilarious when you first get into the boss arena. You don't even realize it's a boss arena because it's so big.
Yeah.
And you walk through the door, and like way off in the distance, you see this dude like on you think maybe it's horseback or whatever, just like crossing across the field, and then it's way off in the distance, stops and turns towards you. And then charges all the way across the field at like the super high speed. It's
like Monty Python and the Holy Grail with
exactly.
the night like
Oh God. But yeah, so Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree, probably finishing it in the next couple days, nice. And should be all wrapped up there.
Nice.
So nice. Phil, what are you playing, if anything?
I'm still playing Jurassic Park Evolution 2. I'm really enjoying it. I finished all the campaign modes, so now it's all just challenges and shit. Or it's Jurassic World Evolution 2. They do some really interesting stuff with the campaign. I was saying before that last week that I was playing the Biosyn campaign, which is basically it's the prequel to the Jurassic World movies, and the rivals coming in and trying to do the same thing. And so you build up and you have all of these goals and achievements you have to achieve to get to the end. And then it cuts forward in time to after Jurassic World has ended, and it's just a fucking shit show, and everything is like burnt to the ground, and you pick up from there.
You're hired to rebuild the park.
Well, yeah, you pick up from there as Ellie and Dr. Grant and all them, basically trying to corral the living dinosaurs and like at least give them some kind of good life while we wait for them to die. That's the impression you get. They're not necessarily trying to make it a tourist attraction, but they're like, we need to keep these dinosaurs here and just give them some semblance of a normal life and let them go extinct again. It's fun. It was really fun doing it from both sides like that, because it's very creative for this kind of strategy games campaign. It goes beyond just the usual make sure that you get this level of park, which was basically what they were doing in the campaign with the first one. It's just a smoother, more interesting campaign. So now there are a bunch of challenges, and I'm planning on getting into those at my leisure. I did start playing a game called Stone Story. I played this. I got this on my phone. I don't remember what recommended it, but it's this very basic role-playing game. It's got that ASCII kind of quality to it, but it's very cute, and it's got a lot of the same vibes as a lot of phone games, where you are, traveling through the different levels. It's kind of auto-played, and you have to equip yourself with the right things to do to get the best benefits. Right. But it is interesting because there are different levels of the same level. So, with most of these kinds of games, you go through the 1-star version of the level, then you go to the 2nd star, and it's the same level. It's just a little harder. No, it's an entirely different level now, and there are little mysteries and little puzzles and stuff like that. It's not like a particularly great game, but I did start playing it at work during my lunch break, and I was just like, this is oddly relaxing.
There she is.
So, hey, I was wondering where she was. I knew she had to get here. It's good timing.
What? Hi. We're almost done. It's a good timing.
Good timing. It's a free game, but they have like a weird premium aspect to it that's like $9.99 a month, and I'm like, who does that? I don't understand where they're going with it. I don't think it's trying to do anything clever. I don't think there's a game hidden under the game or anything. I think this is just what it is. Yeah. But for a little, sword and sorcery game where, I don't have to control the character all the way through and just can sit them on my desk and get some work done and play a game at the same time. Not bad.
Not bad. All right.
Yeah, but that's
all right. All right. Well, that'll do it for tonight's episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to find more of our stuff, then you can go ahead and follow us on Twitter, the hell site owned by the worst human being in the world, Elon Musk. He is the worst, and whoever is the worst, that could change from moment to moment. But Elon is always like hovering right there.
He's always right in there.
There's other people who are worse to the moment, but Elon is just always right fucking there. So you can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Instagram, where you can see pictures, Phil posts of the episode and all that fun stuff. You can follow us on Blue Sky, and once again, you can follow us on Patreon. That is patreon.com/pixelitpod. Thank you so much for listening, and have a good night, everybody.
Goodbye.